Sweat Equity Podcast and streaming show, the #1 business comedy podcast in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've got our buddy Max Traylor on. I don't know if he's our buddy anymore because he didn't see us while he was an hour away when he came in town.
An hour away.
He's got a new book called The Consultant Survival Guide.
Oh, yeah. Learnings will make benefit the glorious profession of consulting.
And Eric's going to be doing the audiobook from this episode, or these 2 episodes, I should say. Hey, we're the 2020...
Yeah, make note of that. You might hear this twice. It's not a mess up. It's going to be the second part of it.
Yeah, you're second lead on an audiobook. That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
What does he do? He taught us how to write a book again. He talked to us about how he basically did a second issue by changing only 25% of the words from his last book.
Genius.
And some psych study he's been working on. So, exciting stuff from old Maxie. Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, your mom's Walkman. Plenty of today's occupations didn't exist a decade ago, like an esports game coach or a cryptocurrency analyst. From Etsy seller to podcast producer, new opportunities to build a career are popping up every day. And Squarespace is the ultimate tool for the professionals to use to build a site, to market their brand, and to sell anything. Features like, I'm going to read this whole copy.
Do it. I didn't know. I thought we got a new sponsor or something.
No, I pulled a copy from another big podcast about Squarespace. Features like Squarespace Analytics allows you to use insights to grow your business so that telehealth therapist can see you where you need to be. I should take these shades off. I'm not going to because I look cool. The appointment scheduling feature allows you to add online booking and scheduling to your Squarespace site. You might have to hit the intro music another time.
It's almost done.
So that divorcee in need of professional online dating profile writer can schedule an informational interview right on your site. What are you waiting for? Get a free trial for Squarespace. Build your site, your brand, market it out there with our free trial in the description. Hit the link. Let's get it going. Howdy toddy.
Sweat Equity.
Listening to the Sweat Equity Podcast.
We're recording. You're totally busted.
Oh, shit. Oh, the mics are hot?
They're always hot.
Are we going?
Hot and loud.
Yeah, we're going.
We'll do a boom clap. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You need that to sync the audio and
Yeah,
video,
you
dude?
heard that one time.
But
You're
it
on
makes
one
me...
movie set, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna say that all the time now.
I mean, I'm not getting your audio through the. I hear you guys through the computer audio, but I assume it's cool on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't care about the guests, AV.
You don't need to hear us.
If you see me leading in and needing you to repeat yourself, that's why.
Yeah, it's on the list of to-dos that we haven't gotten around to. I tried to check
really
out.
Articulate with your
list.
lips, be really animated.
You're asking the wrong hombres, sir.
Yeah. Bad pronunciation.
I make Joe Biden look eloquent. What's it called? No, we have I tried to do Riverside FM so we could get the guests in 1080, but it's a whole thing. They want to be like the simple post-production for podcasts.
Yeah, I started to look at them a while ago.
It's like I can't even put a fake background. You know, I like to put a lot of. Remember that movie Cuties on Netflix?
No,
I put a bunch of cuties. Well, I made it tasteful. Like
I don't think that's the thing to put on the podcast.
It's too late now.
Well, no, I mean
it's too late. It's in.
It's a good movie, guys.
I don't know what it is.
I'm firing hot.
I've never even heard it.
I haven't talked to an adult all day. So you guys are getting it.
Oh, great. Lots of bad words, I bet.
Anyway.
So the problem with Riverside, though, is that most of the time the guests don't have a 1080p camera on their end. So no matter what, usually if it's a webcam, it's not High def.
It's not?
Super high def.
I thought most of them are 1080 now. Like, as of like, this is like vagina drying conversation.
I don't care.
I know, but if we were at a dinner party, like, and we're like, no,
Wouldn't care
dude,
that
after
either.
2019,
Because you and I would still have the
1080p.
conversation. We'd still be talking
we
and
would
just
get
dominating
louder.
conversation and
I
be
would-
like, no,
I would
everybody
talk
shut up.
tonight.
Listen to this about the just like we're doing with Max.
And he's drinking. I forgot to bring my high noons. Damn it.
Well, that's a big dark beer.
What are you drinking there, Max?
I'm drinking a Guinness Extra Stout.
You like your oatmeal with a little alcohol in it?
Yeah, woof.
Yeah, well, I'm still recovering from the Irish hangover from a few days ago. So
What'd you do?
wow.
What'd you do on St. Patty's Day?
you'd have to ask someone. I have 2 kids now. I don't go.
Your dad drinking.
Day party?
I don't go as hard. I was at a simulator. I was at a golf simulator, as I do, and an Irish guy showed up with a keg of Guinness on one of those luggage carriers.
Right, obviously.
So I just see a luggage carrier coming by with a pair of golf clubs and a keg of Guinness.
That's a fucking pro drinking move. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, and I swear to God, these guys were straight out of the Irish mob. Like there was a guy.
They're probably
with
not that
him.
intimidating.
Yeah, they all look like potatoes.
Right. Look how cute you are.
Just one second, guys.
All Shane Gillis's.
interference on the kids. I'm doing a podcast.
Oh,
Bring him in.
bring them in. Let's hear what they have to
She's
say.
in, man. This is my 2-year-old
We're-
Sadie. I don't think she was even alive last time I talked to you.
What's up, dog?
Oh,
Sadie
Busted.
Hawkins dance.
Woo!
all right.
Yeah, man. I got
Now
the
we
2
did it.
kids now. So satisfied with my performance. I doubled down. I got the 5-year-old. I got the 2-year-old.
Have you gotten the vasectomy?
Bro, I went straight to Dr. Snippet. I said, end this right now.
Very
And,
unromantic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And
And you get
they
no
say,
credit
all
from the
right,
wife. Like, look at me. Look, I did the procedure for us. Like, I did it.
Exactly. So
Like, I didn't make you
many-
get your tubes tied like an asshole guy.
Right.
Right. But
Which is a
they say to
hilarious
wait
conversation.
2 weeks.
Ooh, you busted Busta Rhymes wide open like Eric did? Eric
Yeah,
couldn't wait
well,
24 hours
I don't wait 2 weeks. Like, I don't do that.
for anything.
Max, don't do that.
Yeah, like I was golfing in 7 days, and the other stuff, I maybe lasted 5. That's not a good idea.
5 what minutes?
Yeah, what?
5 days.
Oh, okay.
So, wait. How did that schedule break down? You got the procedure. You got the cauterizing.
They say 2 weeks. I said
2
great.
weeks.
I said 5 days. Sounds better.
You're fine.
And that'll hurt you. You're playing with fire there.
Yeah, you don't want to really. It's not worth risking. Maybe I'm really risk averse, because that worries me. Even hearing that, because
Yeah, but I've never gone 5 days before. Like, I was shaking. Like, it was non-negotiable. Like, it was gonna happen.
Oh,
and I was gonna
for
deal with the repercussions.
Gesundheit. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, like an official come sneeze.
Yeah, what?
Like, it was gonna
For
happen.
Gawk.
I get it.
We're a clean show now.
I
Did
get
you know
it.
That? We're
Oh, you're clean show? Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
we're getting picked up by the 700 Club
Fucking
Podcast
clean
Network.
show.
Oh, well, you guys gotta tell me that stuff. You were talking about children earlier. I don't know.
Oh no, we're not. We're not. We'll never ever.
Cut that,
There's
cut that,
too
cut that.
much. I kind of hope there's enough recording of us that
Oh, the AI.
way down the line they can
we'll
make
get-
something up.
Yeah, that'll come back
Well,
to
so
bite
you
us.
guys, look, you guys are my only friends in the comedy world. Like, how tough is it in the comedy world now? Like, how PC does it got to be? Or are you guys just like, fuck it, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna see what happens?
It's a pendulum. You'll hear a lot of comics on podcasts bitching about it, like you can't say that anymore, like that kind of stuff. But really, it goes
If
back
it's
and
funny,
forth.
if it's funny and it makes sense, it's tough to argue.
I think it sounds like
Yeah, but the beauty
And
of
it's
your
not,
art
like,
is you don't know
negative.
if it's funny until you do it. So
Yeah,
yeah, we practice on stage, so that's tough. But look, you fail a lot in stand up, so it's not like it's a new thing, right? Much like business, because comics hate me telling them this, but I'm like, you're an entrepreneur.
Smooth transition.
Well, no, comics don't want to think they have any business savvy. They just want to be a romantic artist. And you're just like, no, dude, you're way more entrepreneurial than you realize. Like, who made that flyer to promote the show that you produced? Who walked in there to make that show happen? Like, that's all like entrepreneurial, life.
Yeah, and I hear it's a pretty darn tough business model. Like, you guys work your butt off, and like,
I'm at the point where I won't be a fresh face on the scene.
Yeah, you're no longer the young gun.
I had to deal with that a few years ago.
Right.
I'm not going to bust out as a young kid, but there are a lot of guys that break later, and it's one of those things. It's like I was talking to my sister on the phone, and we were catching up. We hadn't talked in a while, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to still try to shoot something this year, some kind of special, even if it's 30 minutes at the club that's like a mile away from where we are right now. And it's like, I know I said it last year.
No, I'm not at that. I was shaking my head at that. I'm afraid of what your sister said.
Oh, she was like, oh, you're still pursuing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
And I was like, yeah, I don't see a future where I'll ever stop completely. But I busted her on this because I go, stop thinking of it like you're doing it.
Right.
Start thinking of it like the person's been doing it since 06.
You're not the failure.
Right.
Butt out. Yeah. But, sometimes you get older and you find your voice as an old guy. Maybe,
yeah.
You become a curmudgeon and it's funny. I
actually was getting sad about this at one point before that conversation, so I looked up comics that broke a lot later. So it made me feel better. Like Ron White
that's
broke.
A depressing search.
No, because it gave me hope. And the way things are going now, like the guys that are huge at the moment, they're all in 40s, 50s, right? Like, look, I'm just waiting for one of my friends to get famous and let me open for them, and I'm fine.
Yeah. Latch on, baby.
Yeah. JB Ball, Robbie Slowick, get on it. Or Jared Waters, still doing well. So it has been a year and a half, I think, since you've come on last.
Really? Yeah. No.
That's I believe wrong. So, man.
We had a lot of Max and then no Max because he's been writing a book.
That's not my fault.
There's no way.
Well, he prioritizes his time. We couldn't do this yesterday because he had to play golf.
Right.
Yep.
Which, after reading the book, I respect. Read it in a whole Saturday.
He's doing a smile like that was a burn.
Have you heard me try to read on this podcast? It is bad.
He puts his finger up to the book, and he has to.
It's a day read for law.
I didn't. It wasn't in one sitting. I do a couple push-ups. Get these guns going. Ooh, yeah.
Did you make notes in the mart? You do little mental exercises in between.
I got notes, baby.
He's got a post-it note.
I said if the guy.
It's a drawing of a penis.
If the guy, it's a lot of penis post-its. Honestly,
every page has a penis.
I can't help it. Some guys draw that S from high school that is like a paradoxical S or whatever.
And it goes like this.
Yeah.
This is our best show ever, I think, so far. So good.
We're just getting into it. Look, we're just easing in no lube. You can't just. We haven't seen the boy in a while, and sometimes a little chit chat is nice. Sometimes a little small talk. Are you good at small talk?
Yes. Period.
Max, do you love small talk?
It's great.
Riveting, guys.
Also, the weather, and politics.
Pollen allergies down here, man. What are you dealing with up in the Northeast?
I was just down in Florida, man. I just spent a week.
Thanks for calling.
In Sarasota playing golf.
Cool.
Red tide.
Only an hour away. Not a big deal. We're not set.
Whole week of golf.
Cool.
How many holes did you play?
Yeah, it rained a bunch.
Well, let's talk about the coast. I wasn't unaware that the Florida coast is full of dead fish, and you can't walk anywhere without convulsing in cough.
That's your week we give you. That's on purpose, by the way.
Yeah,
spring break is
dump trucks full of shit, and they just empty them onto. They just drive it right down the beach, and they just.
You had to do something. Everyone was moving there to die, so you had to, deter people in some way.
Yeah, you stayed though, right?
Yeah, you were playing golf. You didn't have to deal with any of that. You didn't come up to Tampa. It's only an hour drive. We're not bitter or anything.
I'll come back.
Sure. They all say that. You want nicotine gum?
No, thanks.
Okay.
You holler at me if I'm chewing gum
Nicotine
while we're
gum?
podcasting.
Just I'm going to put it in like a dip, like a good human, and try not to chomp it. But when it chomps or we get dad whistle,
Yeah, I can't.
noise whistle, I got to tell you.
I go right in and just...
Yeah, and then you have the nicotine gum. Bam!
I
Like
what did I just miss?
choking dick. All right. Look, this isn't Def Jam, guys. This is serious. You got a book called Consultant's Survival Guide. I'll put it up here on the video here.
Word.
Big yellow book. And then the subtitle. You want to tell me about this subtitle here? Because every time I
go
read,
ahead and read it.
every time I read, this is how I read normally. So I was like, I had to read this 10 times to make sure it was a
Learning
joke.
will make benefit the glorious profession of consulting.
Yeah.
Yes?
Eric gets it.
No, I sent it to him.
Did
I
you
go,
do it
the
on purpose?
The subtitle's Borat-esque.
Yeah. Well, it's a direct ripoff. If we're being
Love it.
If we're being honest.
You can call it a cover.
Look, man,
You're not a comedian.
I put so much work into those books, and I tried like 4 times. I think I talked to you about this last time, but like I tried 4 times to write a book. I hired the book people, and it was just never me. And so at the end of a project that like is you, and you're like, you know what? I don't really care if people like it. This is me. This is how I talk. This is what I think. I wrote this effing thing. There's no ghostwriting going on. That's me. I'm gonna put a wacky title that is a nod to a movie that I like. Even the first book was a nod to Zoolander, and so and so this one.
You mean
I
the
was,
agency
about the Borat thing.
survival guide we have right here? How to productize consulting
I
services.
didn't realize that. And do
And-
other things good too.
Do other things better too.
Oh, well.
Volume 30, get it? Because
Yeah, don't you remember from Zoolander, Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good? And
Oh, yeah.
Do other things better too.
One of my favorites.
do you do that
Has
as
to be at least 3 times bigger. You know.
do you do that as like an Easter egg for people that actually looked at the cover, looked at the title?
Yeah, an Easter egg. And, it helps me profile people because I get people that email me. There's like, Max, you made like a typo on the cover. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh my God, never email me again. Ever.
Yeah, and then people email me and they're like, dude, love this.
Right.
I'm like, I know who I want to be working with.
Exactly. I like that.
That's funny because that's maybe the only way you'll get someone to tell you they're reading it as they're reading it.
Right, like paying
Genuinely.
attention.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
and
like-
in either way, it's a compliment because they're paying attention. That's what I've come to feel.
Right. It's like Dean Akers in his book. If you make it this far, call me and I'll give you whatever, $20 or something.
Yeah, he'll dog ear a corner, like say page 79, and he'll say, call me when you get to this page. I'll give you $20 or $100 or
Well,
something.
I kind of did you get to the trigger warning?
I thought I did. Maybe I didn't
the
read
end?
the whole book.
I didn't even get the book.
Ooh,
There you go.
let's talk about
Sarasota,
that.
we're only an hour away, Max.
Let's talk about that.
I didn't get a book.
Delivered
Only
it
an hour away.
to Eric
You know.
in his Jazz Solo Cup shirt.
I could have
Well,
worn this.
most people don't. Most people say don't sell anything with your book, but in the back of the book, I was like, you know what? I wrote this. I did this. You've come this far, so I put a little trigger warning for emotionally sensitive buyers, and then I went ahead and told them how they could pay me.
All I see is a bunch of blank pages in the back. I hate to tell you.
Anyway, let's forget about the trigger warning. Yeah, man, I
I
appreciate.
don't
you
think
doing a
we
shout-out.
can.
You didn't give me any page markers, dude, beforehand. We don't have people that give me the book ahead of time.
See this. Give me that.
People just tell us they have a book and they never send it to us. So
Oh, here we go.
I want to talk. You got it?
Trigger warning. The following pages contain a sales pitch for Max Traylor's 90-day challenge. Easily offended readers be advised. Please direct all inquiries and or complaints directly to the source. Max at maxtrailer.com.
Thank you. We can get Eric for the readings.
Okay.
Definitely.
I'll read. You want me to do the audio version?
I am doing an Audible version,
I'll read it.
and I do need someone to play like a really
Effeminate man.
annoying client.
Perfect.
voice.
I can do all of them.
He's a voice
Happy
instrumentalist.
to do it. Happy to do it.
Like, no, Max, you can't do that.
Let's hear
Okay.
it. Let's give it.
No, Max can't do that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. See, you're
Pretty
my guy.
good. And what else you got in your arsenal?
I don't know. I mean, what other?
What about nervous office guy?
Hey Max, I don't know if you should really think about
no, it's way
reorganizing
safer to
things.
put your 100% of your income into your boss's hands. And
See, Max,
you
I'm hearing
definitely
a lot of
shouldn't
the
be
first guy. I'm hearing a lot of first guy and second guy. This is the voice game, all right?
Yeah.
What
Do I get a
about
point? Do I get a point?
Max's dad? Can you do him?
Max, quit jacking off in my shed. Damn it.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, man, but I think it has been a year, and aside from having another kid, I decided that I just don't want to spend my time with these companies anymore. It's too frustrating, and I'm solely focused on the independent consultants now. So that's been cool.
You're the consultants for the consultants.
That's right, a bullshitter's bullshitter.
Who's consulting you, Max?
Who watches The Watchmen?
Well, I spent 6 years in the Strategic Coach program, a Dan Sullivan creation out of Toronto. Great coaching program for consultants. And then I did some events with the Baby Bathwater Institute, which is a wild conglomerate of really successful entrepreneurs. And so, I mean, it has certainly...
I didn't think you actually had an answer to that.
I thought that was a subtitle joke.
I thought it was a rhetorical question, but it's actually a good question because, you got to invest in yourself. And the Beers with Max podcast, I mean, I spent 8 years interviewing people that are, a lot smarter than me and are, published authors and speakers and Hall of Fame, folks. So it's like a free ticket to learn from people. And yeah, it's a good question.
We say the exact same thing.
Yeah, we do that too.
Yeah.
We learn a lot.
Yeah.
Teach us stuff, dude. All right. So you, first I want to say baller move, sending a book out of nowhere. No email, no heads up.
I just opened the book and the first thing says baller move, sending a FedEx of your new book.
Yeah, that's my note.
That's his first note.
Yeah. That was
You're
the
on
first
point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in the notes? That's in his little...
Yeah, dude.
You see that?
My post-it, baller move.
Literally, it says it right there.
Oh my God, I just had an idea. What if I create a second edition and I collect all the people's notes on the different pages and I publish the notes inside the book?
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like a ransom note when you get all mine, because that's kind of how I'm surprised you read that, because my
it just
handwriting
opens to Law's baller move sending book for no reason.
There are a couple penis post-its in there. I'm not gonna lie. I doodle. I got what the kids call the ADD, but hence why I would do push-ups, read a little bit, do more push-ups. That was kind of my routine for reading this.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Solid.
Getting these
You're
tries
up to
going.
3 sets of push-ups now.
100 a day, pretty good. Looking yoked.
Do you have a book in you guys?
It was one of my goals last year. I did not achieve. We're actually going to take out a page of your playbook for how you did the agency
I got a publishing strategy.
Let's hear it, because this is open source it to the fans, to the audience.
Yes.
How do you get a book out?
How do you get a book out?
Yeah.
All right.
You
so
told us how to do this already, but I want the better
thing that
version.
the thing the guy taught me. I'll make an introduction, but you pick one thing that you want people to do. So in my first book, the thing was I want people to sell the plan. Like, it was for agency owners. They give away the plan for free. They're just destroying themselves. So the one thing that the entire book centers around is getting them to actually sell the plan that they currently give away for free. And that makes it so simple. That makes everything like, does it help with that thing that I want them to do? No, so it doesn't belong in there. That's why it was like 10,000 words. It was like 60 pages soaking wet. Like, there was like blank pages for like thoughts and things.
Oh, you did the Family Guy joke when Brian writes a book. Like, half the pages are like, you draw it yourself. Like, you write this page yourself.
At the time, Amazon had a 100-page limit. We almost pulled out like the period trick, like the double-spaced period trick from high school.
Term paper, yeah.
Yeah. So like,
raise that line height a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Line height, font. Like I was pulling out all the stops because like who wants a little bit? But the reviews, I loved it because all the positive reviews and the one negative review I got said the same thing. The book was short, and they're like, "Thank God," because I could actually read this. It was short. You know, it didn't just belabor on. And then the negative review was like, "I can't believe I paid $2. The book was so short." And I was like, "Yes, that's my favorite review."
I mean,
It was like
Sorry.
1 star.
$2.
I was pissed. I was mad. Well, it's $2. I could buy $2 Chuck with that.
Yeah, it's still like $1. I made it like $1. It's like comical.
Well, so what does it take now to write a book? What's the minimum constraints for two guys that don't really want to write one, but we just want to get author titled?
Yes.
Dude, you already have.
We're gonna take
you have
interviews.
It
Yeah.
is literally you're not even. The task for you is not to write a book. It's to pick your episodes that you want to put into a book
Let's put all the max
and
ones.
find somebody that knows
have to
how to
now.
do publishing and can like corral the thing into what. Like you guys do something well. Don't try and be authors. Just say, I got all this shit. Does anyone know how to turn shit into a great book? There's people like I know one. His name's Corey.
Yeah, but we're cheap dads too. That's the problem. So we'll go,
Well-
this will be an experience. We can do this.
Maybe we get them
Yeah,
transcriptions.
well,
out.
you know, in that case, you might have to do some of the lifting yourself. But
We've got
the real
all
story
the transcriptions of the episodes. The idea was just
yeah,
if we have to wrap a little bit around the interviews.
you know, the
Yeah,
reality
that's
is
easy.
you might not be doing a book.
how
If
dare
you don't write,
Don't
and
take
you
my
don't spend
book
money
dreams.
on book.
I just want to be an author without writing. What the fuck's wrong with that?
We're going to be
right,
authors.
right, and you know,
I
you're-
will
you're
write.
allowed
I
to-
will write.
Yeah.
I identify
Pun
as an
burn.
author.
Pun burned.
Now, you know what we'll do is we'll write a book in spite of you, Max.
Yeah.
That's what gets us going. Spite
That-
fuel.
Yeah,
Ha.
yeah, well,
Max says we
Interrobang
can't write a
that
book.
shit.
I'll write a book. And it'll be terrible. Just in spite of Max.
Ampersand.
Yeah.
you'd call
Our
it
title's
Our
going to be
Terrible Book.
stupider. Yeah, it's going to be stupider than yours. Way dumber.
Wait a
Eric and
minute.
Law's terrible book.
Yes, that's actually pretty good. Write that
Yeah,
one
it's
down.
It's a good title, I think.
I think we'll stick with the sweat equity, but
Oh, right. You have a title. Damn it.
that one pretty much works.
Sweat Equity, the
We should
terrible
probably keep it
podcast.
under the same brand. But sweat, like we need a subtitle like "Sweatier Balls" or something. I don't know. I'm
So
just
it's good that
pitching.
hasn't changed in the 3 years we've known each other. You're still rocking the sweaty balls tagline.
Did we pitch that before?
I
We
don't
don't
remember.
repeat ourselves. What are you, crazy?
I don't remember that.
That's like what old dads do, not us.
Oh,
What's the difference between writing this book, The Consultant's Survival Guide, versus the previous book, The Agency Survival Guide?
yeah, the key to it was a long time ago. I realized I wasn't going to write multiple books.
Okay.
I was going to write one book multiple times. If you do a word count on the how many exact same words and chapters appear from book 1 to book 2, it's about 75% the exact same book.
Oh, I sent this to Eric in Slack a couple hours ago. I was looking at some of the stuff. I was like, when I read the book, I was like, did Max tell us this stuff in interviews? I'm definitely too lazy to go look that up. Even though we have
am I having an
transcripts.
outer body experience?
Well, look, I
Deja vu.
have a weird memory. Like I'll remember shit that I'm not supposed to remember and forget shit I'm supposed to remember.
Well, you take good notes. We know that.
Well, we got robots doing that now. I have to take
Baller
notes.
move.
The only reason I'll take notes is because it actually helps me memorize. So if I do a set list before I go up, it'll be like 7 words, and I'll just go, okay, I can fill in the blanks in between that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. Or sometimes not write it at all and bomb. But like just by the fact of writing a note, I might not use it. I think you're like 30% likelier to memorize it or something like that if you write it down.
Sure.
I may have made that up.
Yeah, me too. No, I do all handwritten notes on all my like sales calls, on all my workshops. Like I'm a handwritten note guy too. It's absolutely, yeah. I mean, you have a photographic memory. So what you're experiencing is not deja vu. It's 75% the exact same content. I changed some words. I took some chapters out. It's
brilliant.
Put new chapters
I
in.
loved it. Once I saw the money tree, I put them side by side in each book. The money tree diagram.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
the
like,
money tree chapter is the exact same. Yeah,
What
there's
the
chapters
fuck?
that are literally the exact same. and I switch them around in the order just to,
Well, little 3-card
why
money,
not? But I got the idea from a buddy of mine that wrote a book, really successful leadership coach. And I was talking to him, and he was like, he wrote The Ultimate Sales Revolution. It was a book. And he's like, yeah, I wrote the book for the wrong audience because I really decided that my target audience is really chief operating officers. So I'm relaunching the book. And I was like, you're rewriting the book? He's like, no, I'm relaunching. I'm just changing the title and the cover.
It's awesome.
And I was like, what a badass. I was like, that's the way to do it. All these authors, I'm 15 times published.
Dude,
I
can
do 15 times published.
See, we
I'll have
think
a black cover,
we're thinking
cover,
one book.
white cover.
We should do
Red
multiple
cover.
books.
Right. No, we're thinking like it's Google indexing these books or something. Nobody's checking this shit. We could just change the
Well, it's
title
my
and the
book.
cover.
I can plagiarize my own book.
Right.
How rad would it be to go? We're
And
not
you
only
can just sandwich more for the next one. It could be 25% bigger than this one. It's got this whole thing in
I'm
it.
going to send you an Amazon published book. It's going to be Max's book for law.
yeah, it's dope.
And you're going to be like, oh my God. It's
gonna get that
customized.
customized.
Yeah, it's like,
Suck
Max's
that.
law book.
Suck on that, Grisham.
Because that can fool people.
Well, no, I once I realized that, I go, that's brilliant. There's more consultants than there are agency owners, so that's number one, right? You hit if you were trying to do that.
I mean, that wasn't a part of my consideration. I'm never going to even scratch the surface of my addressable market.
Well, you want to get it out there at some point. It won't. It probably won't be on the New York Times bestseller. Probably won't.
Yeah,
I don't know
definitely
percentage. But I'm saying, like, you do want it to get out there in a certain clip, right? You did it for a reason.
Oh yeah. Well, the reason is sending it to people
Right.
and then being like,
It's a great touch
wow,
point.
For baller moves.
this guy's really credible.
Yeah. Incredible.
I should pay him.
Until they see this interview and they're like,
Right.
what the fuck?
They were on
Yeah, I'm
he's on
banking
the
on that. Like, don't
penis
show it
show.
to anybody in my target audience if you please. But
This whole book's
no,
a
yeah,
ruse.
there are different ways. There are different ways to use the book, and what I learned from my third book, the way I used my first book is that I would talk to somebody, and if I knew they were a good fit, I would send them my book. Now, half the time, by the time I got to the second conversation, they had read my book, and they would say, "I want to work with you." They were like, "Great!" So I was like, "This is the greatest thing of all time." And it cost me like $7 to send them a book. And so I'm going a little bit beyond that now because I have shifted from a low volume, high ticket business model where I'd charge like 50 grand and I'd want one deal a month to a more volume based business model where I'm charging, a monthly fee to consultants. So now I'm doing more group workshops. The people that do my group workshops, I get about 20 every week or so. They get a digital copy of my book. If I think they're a good fit and they in the workshop, they seem like a good fit, I'll send them an actual copy of my book, like the one I sent to you. And it's just like something that is very little effort on my part that gives them a very good sense of who I am. And if they can relate to that, then it's a lot, it's a lot more efficient for me to bring them into a program that is, them paying me.
Yeah, last we talked, you were working on something with the psychology of consultants. Doing a study.
Yeah.
See, my memory's
Sure.
not all cashed out.
It's there, man. It's there.
And why would you go from high ticket, low volume to high volume,
Yeah,
higher
it's usually
volume?
the opposite.
Well, I'm curious why you would want to do that.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple reasons. The first reason was personal, and I wouldn't have done it for just this reason. But when I work with a company and I, help them create this new service offering, and so let's say they're making more money, right? That was the reason I was doing it. Nobody's life changed. Nobody got to take a month off of work. Nobody got to tell their boss to F off. Like, it was like, oh, great. You did it. See you Monday. And it's like, nobody's life changed. But when I started during COVID, I'd start to talk to these executives at these agencies and consultancies, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I want to do this, but Max, I'm leaving my company, or I'm about to get laid off, or Fook this, I'm done. And I would help them, and they would take a month off, or they'd like take their family to Europe, or they'd do something like crazy like that. And I was like, wow.